Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are episode 4 now, Mark, is it?
Yeah, I think we're about 4
I
episodes
think
in.
somewhere around there. I guess it doesn't really matter what episode number it is. But the show without a name. I'm here with a new microphone, looking super professional, still in my bedroom, so not too aggressively professional, but definitely still professional. I got a big sunburn, and we're going to talk some baseball here with my good friend GiraffeneckMarc. How you doing, man?
We're doing good. A little bit of a rough week, especially as a Mets fan, but baseball's still on. I was seriously thinking that it was all over on Monday, so I'm taking it. I'm happy.
No, listen. Who knows when baseball will end or when baseball will keep going. Such a confusing process. Like the Marlins looked like they were going to have to forfeit the year at one point.
Yeah.
I know the Phillies had a little bit of an outbreak. I know it was the Cardinals.
Cardinals had like 12 guys, I think, or something like that, 12 members.
Yeah. I mean, we knew any rational human being knew going into the season this was a likely scenario that would pop up throughout the year.
Yeah.
And fortunately, so far, it seems as though they have mitigated the risk and have got the season a little bit back on track. And I like that Manfred isn't married to the idea of everyone playing the same number of games. It's a shit show of a season. You just kind of have to roll with the punches here. You don't have to force doubleheaders all the time.
No, yeah, it's definitely like a good move that one team's not going to hold everyone else back.
Yes, I agree with that. I mean, the Marlins are 5-1.
Which is just insane. Like that sentence, even like forget the whole coronavirus missing games thing. The idea that the Marlins would start the season 5-1 is insane.
It really is insane that they are the only one-loss team left in baseball. Yeah, obviously they haven't played as many games, but theoretically they do have the best winning percentage.
Yep. Who would have thought in August we'd be saying that?
Especially coming when I think it was Derek Jeter and said that they were looking for anyone who may have had major league experience.
Yeah, I think they even signed like the switch pitcher Pat Venditti, who like hasn't like pitched in the pros in like 3 or 4 years. Like, oh, you can throw, we got you.
And Pat Venditti, I haven't heard of that guy in a long time. I played against that guy in I think he was with Scranton Yankees.
Yeah, he was with the Yankees for a bit.
Yeah, that back when I was with Pawtucket, which was AAA for the Red Sox. If you guys are not familiar with minor league teams, but let's dive in. Speaking of the Yankees, to a Yankee favorite, guy who people loved. I loved watching him play. I loved the enthusiasm he brought to the game and how much fun he seemingly had. We have Ozzie Guillen, who I also really liked in Chicago. I thought he was funny, kind of a nutbag, but I enjoyed him in baseball. In the video that we saw, he didn't say great things about Nick Swisher.
No.
Oh my God, Nick! Nobody can compare that with Nick Swisher. I hate Nick Swisher with my heart.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. You want to get into that a little more, or no?
No, not really. But I think he hate me back. That's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I can't.
You guys just didn't get along. Didn't work out.
No. I know. I never talked to him. I was managing him, but I don't like the way his attitude was all fake.
Yeah.
And I don't like fake people.
All right. So he was only in with the White Sox for 1 year, and then he moved on.
It was 1 year too long.
The quote, "I hate him with my heart." I want to say all, he didn't say all of my heart. He just says "with my heart."
Yeah.
Is what Ozzie said about Nick Swisher. Now, you're a Mets fan. What were your thoughts on Nick when he was playing for the Yankees or any team for that matter?
I never disliked the guy. He was kind of one of the more personable players before social media really took off. I think if he was playing now, he'd be almost in that same kind of aspect as Trevor Bauer, in that I would see him probably being super active on social media, just being a goof, having fun. So the comments by Ozzie Guillen, it felt just a little out of pocket. I don't know. It seemed, obviously Ozzie Guillen probably knows Nick Swisher better than me, having managed him for a year. But even the comment about how he was yeah, his attitude is fake, and I don't like fake people. I was really? This is some eye-opening stuff here. I mean, do I trust Ozzie Guillen, or do I go with what I've seen thus far? He's the only guy who I feel has said something bad like this.
So I can say, from a personal standpoint, I remember being at the new Yankee Stadium. I've only been to one game there. I actually never got to play there, which was unfortunate. But the new Yankee Stadium, I remember, those games they have up on the scoreboard, in between innings. I remember Nick, it was a baby picture. And I was which current Yankee is this a baby's picture of, and like they would show the side by side of each guy in the field of who they were like you had guessed from.
Mm-hmm.
And when he got to Nick, he'd like play along. He'd be like, "No, that's not me." Like,
Yeah.
he like it was fun. Like I enjoyed watching that guy play. I felt like he was more of a human than all these super serious guys in the field.
Oh, definitely.
I will say though, and I heard this from guys in AAA and Scranton when Nick was there. I heard there was a lot of talk around baseball that, because I had always spoken very highly of Nick, even though I've never met the gentleman. I don't have a bad thing to say about him. But I did hear in baseball people saying the phrase, his act is tired.
Yes. And I can imagine over a long season, the guy coming in, being like Mr. Bubbly and like almost too energetic. Like we've all come across those people who are like, you can have a bad day. It's okay. Like I can see that being definitely an issue.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, before a cup of coffee, I don't know if I can handle maybe like those, especially in the AAA and the minor leagues where you're going to play Kids Day games, which is 11 a.m. games for people that haven't been to a minor league Kids Day game. It's like 11 a.m. game, and you have the entire stands is filled with kids. It's like usually like a Tuesday or Wednesday because the kids are in school. Yeah. And they flood the ballpark and it's SpongeBob SquarePants theme song played 15 times. Yeah. Kids are screaming at you. The bullpen is mobbed with kids asking for baseballs. It's a nightmare. So I could imagine before Kids Day games showing up the ballpark at 9 a.m., not having coffee, and me telling Nick Swisher to shut his damn mouth. Yeah. Can't handle this right now. But I still feel like at the end of the day, I get if Ozzie thinks the guy's fake. Yeah. If he thinks it's a fake act and it's all a bunch of bull, I understand that thought because I hated fake guys too. Yeah, of course. I think everyone hates fake people. I don't think anyone's out there like, yeah, I love fake people. But to me, it seems like it's not. It doesn't seem fake. It just seems over the top.
Definitely, and I think that's kind of where I feel like I would stand on the whole scenario. I mean, I know nothing obviously about the guy outside of the persona that he put on as a baseball player, but you would just probably think like, I was just like, oh man, like he's just annoying, man. Like sometimes just leave me alone. You can't be that happy. But I don't think it is fake because I feel like at some point somebody else would have came out and had something to say about this isn't really how Nick Swisher is. And I know we didn't see what was said before the clip where Ozzie Guillen talked about hating Nick Swisher, but I feel like that would help too.
I can't imagine, both of us talked about before the show, me and you talked about, this morning when we texted, trying to find the clip before, because it looks like Ozzie's reacting to something. Yeah. And I want, like, you would imagine that it's like, maybe it's a quote from Nick or something. There's something there he's reacting to. And I don't know what it is. I want to know. I want that context. I need that context.
Like the only thing I can think of from what he was saying, because I think he starts off by being like, nah, like don't compare him to Nick Swisher. He said something like that. So I'm guessing maybe they brought up a player on the White Sox maybe that reminds them of Nick Swisher. It's so tough to tell.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully in the coming, today or in the coming days, we see some context. So I would like to see what he's referring to. Yeah. About, I mean, obviously we're not going to find out why Ozzie hates him or what happened. Obviously, he gave the reason being fake. I'd like a little bit more context there too, but we're probably not going to get that. But it is interesting as definitely a fan favorite. And I will say 0 for 1 off Pat Light all time.
Oh, there we go.
But he is definitely a fan favorite. And this is definitely, publicly at least, the first time I've heard anything negative about Nick. In the public eye coming from a pretty reputable source.
You think Nick responds at all?
No. Okay. I don't think so because whether the personality or the persona is fake or not, I think that persona doesn't respond to something like this. Okay. I don't think maybe he gets, does he still broadcast? Doesn't he broadcast or something?
I think he is on, I don't know if it's for a specific team or if he does like some of the Fox like in studio stuff.
I could see them playing that clip for him during a broadcast for Fox, something like that, and him just like laughing it off and being like, me and Ozzie didn't get along or something. Yeah. Something small like that. I don't see anything like actually coming from this. Ozzie has been a pretty controversial person throughout.
Yeah. I mean, like he was one of those guys I remember when I was younger. I loved that he wasn't managing my team because he gave you great like quotes and great clips. But I'm like, man, if he managed the Mets, I feel like it would be such a mess.
Yes, it definitely could be. He's definitely a manager for a very specific type of team.
Yeah.
And maybe he's just not the type of manager that would get along with a guy like Nick. And he does Ozzie, although seems sometimes happy, he also seems like a notoriously miserable human being.
Correct.
So I could see him clashing with a notoriously happy human being.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here we are. But let's dive into actual baseball now.
Yes.
Now that we got the page 5, stuff out of the way.
Yes.
We got Minnesota Twins. We have the Chicago Cubs, and we have the New York Yankees, all at 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
Both the Twins and Cubs are 10-2. The Yankees are 9-2, and we'll do honorable mention for the Colorado Rockies, who I believe are 8-3.
Yeah, 8
or 9-3. One of the two. Very good team as well. But we'll narrow the fields right now. Twins, Cubs, Yankees. Let's start off with the Twins and Yankees here because they're in the same league, same division, whatever. Not the same division, but same league. Right now, you have to say that those are the 2 favorites to win the American League. Right now, gun to your head, who are you taking to win the American League?
Yankees. Especially with the way that Judge has been playing, which it looks like he's finally fully healthy for like the first time since his rookie year. And as we know, when he is fully healthy, he's a scary player, easily top 10 in the league. And you have that they're meshing well, and they still haven't even really gotten great starting pitching. Like Paxton's been sketchy, Hap's been sketchy, and they're still just smacking teams. I mean, that offense combined with the bullpen, and they're too good. I can't, as much as I want to pick the Twins, especially because I hate the Yankees with every ounce of blood in my body, I can't pick against them. They're just too good right now.
Listen, I couldn't agree more. I watched them play against the Red Sox. It was not. We don't have a great team this year.
No.
Obviously, my pick for them to win the World Series was thrown out almost immediately. But
as was mine.
Yes, that's very true. Very true. But I watched them play against the Red Sox, and a Red Sox team who's, picked top 10 in the league in offense in the beginning of the year. They haven't really done that, but definitely still a viable offense with J.D. Martinez, Xander Bogaerts, Rafael Devers, even Christian Vasquez is hitting the ball well. Yeah. We got guys in that lineup. A bullpen who I think is getting I don't know what the word I'm looking for at the top of my head, but is not really underappreciated for what they're doing. They're actually not pitching that poorly. I mean, Workman's been spotty, Barnsley's been spotty, but they're still a good bullpen.
Especially with how much they're being used too, because I mean the starters are only going like 3 innings at most. It feels like a night.
Well, which we said in the beginning, the starters are going to be the problem for the Boston Red Sox. And seemingly the offense and the bullpen is going to be struggling because the starters are. It's kind of starting with the starters, but the Yankees handled the Red Sox, a team that isn't horrible. As I just went through their entire team, they're not a horrible team, but the Yankees, who are a premier team in the league right now, should handle a team that's not horrible.
Correct.
And they dominated the first 2 games, and then the Red Sox gave them a run for their money in the 3rd game. Yeah. And as that offense came alive, I think scored like 8 runs.
Yeah.
And the Red Sox and the Yankees did what World Series teams do. They found a way to win the ball game.
That's literally what I was going to bring up, because I had this conversation with my dad about the Mets, because we've just had some like really tough games, and he was like, we're not fighting back, like, but we're good. And I said, but that's the difference between what makes a really good team and what makes everybody else, is that the good teams win those games that they need to, and the other teams just play.
If you find ways to win, you can't. And, I can say the same about the Red Sox sometimes. Not, the Mets are a better team than the Red Sox, but I can say the same thing about the Red Sox at times where I'm like, we got a chance to win some of these ball games and we're just not pulling them out. And that in and of itself is the difference between a team that's going to go far in the playoffs and a team that's not even possibly going to make the playoffs. Those teams on their worst days find ways to win ball games and add to that win column and not to the loss column. So I think I would agree with you, although I watched the Twins now recently because they piqued my interest, also a former team of mine. And they're good.
They can swing the bats. Yeah. They can swing the bats for sure. It's like, I think with them, it's always going to come down to pitching, because I don't think you ever have to doubt their offense. Like 1 through 9, you go, who do you get out? But their pitching is always going to be the sketcy thing. But even then, like, they still put it together. So, like, I got to give them credit.
Yep. And listen, they're giving the pitchers what they're doing right now. I don't have all the box scores in front of me, but they're making sure their team has a chance to win the ball game. And when you have an offense like they do, it's the same thing that the Yankees are doing right now. When you have an offense like you have, you just got to keep them in the game.
Yep.
Keep them in the game and give them, I'm sure the Mets are probably doing the same thing. The Red Sox constantly are losing ball games in the first 3 innings. And now your team's your offensive hitters who are great hitters are immediately pressing.
Yeah.
You haven't given them a chance to win ball games for you with a great offense. The Twins and Yankees have consistently given those offenses chances to win ball games and chances to be comfortable at the plate. And then you're giving Aaron Judge, Nelson Cruz the ability to be comfortable at the plate. That's a nightmare for any opposing pitcher.
No, that's like, if you go into a game plan, what do you want to do? You don't want them to get comfortable.
No, absolutely. I remember pitching against Aaron Judge. I pitched against him about 53 times coming up through the minor leagues. And the biggest thing you do with Aaron Judge is you always threw him inside.
That's what I've been saying forever.
Yeah, this is the difference here with what Aaron Judge was in the minor leagues versus what Aaron Judge was in the big leagues. He stopped swinging as much on pitches inside. He lets them go. When I pitched against the guy, he can't get in. He needs to get his arms extended. So you get it in, and he would swing at them because it's a fastball. He's looking for fastball. And then you throw that fastball in, and you throw a slider away, and you knock the doors off. You win the battle against Aaron Judge by going hard in and soft away because he sees the ball in. He says, "Damn it, I shouldn't have swung at that." And he's like, "All right," changes the approach in his head, says, "I'm going to look for the ball out over the plate. I'm not looking for the ball in anymore." And you throw that slider right where he's looking for it, and boom, swing, miss, game over.
Yep.
But now he's comfortable, and he's not swinging the ball at the baseball end. He's swinging the ball over the plate. He's forcing guys to come to him because it's hard to throw strikes inside. And now you get favorable counts, you get home runs, you get doubles, you get everything that man does.
You get the saw it off his hands, broken bat over the fence in right field.
Kind of like what Pete Alonso did to Workman that one night. He's sawed it off over the right field. But I mean, it's fun to watch Aaron Judge. I mean,
it's fun because you're seeing a guy who's just straight up really good.
Yes.
But then it's also painful because I just can't stand the team he plays for. And I'm like, man, why can't we have this guy?
Yeah. I mean, every team in baseball wants Aaron Judge. That's obvious. I mean, and the guy's, charismatic, easy to like.
Very easy.
Like he's both on off. He's not over the top like Nick Swisher.
No.
But he's not notoriously miserable like Ozzie Guillen. So, it's an easy guy to like, easy guy to root for. It's just horrible team choice.
Yes.
Which is, what it comes down to. All right, so now we go to the National League. We got the Colorado Rockies, honorable mention. We have the Chicago Cubs. I did look at we do have the Marlins at 5-1.
Yeah.
But they need to prove themselves for another 2 weeks before I can say
correct.
And then so you have the Atlanta Braves, I think 8-4 or something like that.
Braves are 8-4. 8-4. I don't think they played last night, so.
Okay, so 8-4 Braves team. We're going to keep the Braves out of it, underperforming right now in my view, even though they're losing some good games. Yeah. Let's talk about the Cubs and let's talk about the Colorado Rockies. Who do you have, gun to your head, and takes the National League?
I mean, who takes the National League out of those two teams? Or
so Mets are not allowed to be picked.
Okay, well, because I would have picked the Dodgers in theory, but
out
of those two teams, I think it's weird. I think I like the Rockies more. I'm down on the Cubs. I really am. I don't like a team that's built around really old pitching, which is what they are. They have zero bullpen. Craig Kimbrell's forgotten how to pitch, apparently.
How about that? He has a worse ERA this year than I have in my career, which is really hard to do, man.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, I saw he shave the beard and everything. He's trying to change up the mojo, but it just seems like he almost doesn't have it anymore, which is crazy because prior to joining the Cubs, you were talking about possibly one of the best closers of all time statistically. So I can't I'm old school in that you need pitching. Pitching wins championships and the hitting will come. The hitting's there for the Cubs. We know their lineup's loaded in, their power in their main positions, but the pitching to me is just not good enough. They're performing well right now. I just don't know how long they're going to be able to do it. In the same aspect, you could say that about the Rockies because you play in Colorado, the pitching can fall apart literally any game. But they've been stepping up. So to me, if you can step up in Colorado, you can pitch anywhere. And right now they're pitching well in Colorado, so why not?
I mean, that's as good of a point as any, is that they're pitching well in a notoriously hitter's ballpark. And they're pitching really well. I mean, the Cubs, from what I understand, has, their starting rotation is the best ERA in baseball right now.
Yeah.
which is great. I just looked up John Lester, who I absolutely love and really wish would come back to the Red Sox and his career there. You got like a .82 in one start. Like, they're pitching well.
They are pitching very well.
John Lester's not going to have a .82 the whole year, but they're pitching well. If I had to pick a team right now, I'd probably pick the Rockies too. I love Nolan Arenado.
Yep.
And again, it's really, I'm with you on pitching wins World Series or wins championships. I mean, we just talked about the Red Sox and Mets. Yep. If you start with pitching and then everything else follows. And if you're able to pitch consistently well in Colorado, you're going to be fine pretty much anywhere else in baseball.
Yeah.
So if you're able to do that, but we'll let you go off menu. Let's give your case for the Dodgers right now. Give your case.
I mean, I think the Dodgers, their biggest question is going to be their bullpen, which I feel like is probably most good teams' big question right now. There's not many teams that have just a great bullpen, but I mean, that lineup is just so good. Their pitching is starting to pitch really well. I mean, Kershaw the other night, I think, was back to his old self. I think he struck out 10-6 or something like that. And then Dustin May's looking really good. Urias is looking really good. They just pull guys seemingly out of their ass and they just play well. Whoever they are, they play well. And they're built for the long haul. Even in a 60-game season, I know it's a sprint, but they just have so much depth. It's hard to really not pick them.
Yeah, no, I get you. Dustin May. Holy.
He's special. He's special.
The stuff I'm seeing on Twitter from this guy. Now, he's not tweeting, and the videos I'm seeing of him pitching. Oh, what kind of pitches are these?
I mean, you get 101 with tail inside or whatever to a righty that starts down the middle and ends almost on his hip.
Just to give you a little perspective, if you're someone out there listening to this, and you may be a high school baseball player or whatever, when you have a guy throwing 100, and I'm a guy personally, my hardest ever threw was 102. What I did off people was I made you guess, because when you throw that hard, my fastball wasn't that good. It actually got hit really hard when people knew it was coming or were sitting on it. But when you throw that hard, you have no choice. You either have to guess. You have to sit one pitch. Because if you sit my off speed and I throw 102, you're not hitting it.
No, it's by you.
You're not hitting it. Yeah. So you have to either sit fastball, or my off speed was a splitter. I have two pitches. You're going to be 50-50 guessing. You throw Dustin May in there, who's a starter, who has multiple pitches, not just two.
Yeah.
And now it lessens your odds even more. If you're not sitting fastball up there, and now you're talking about fastball that's going to start middle and maybe end by your kneecap.
Yeah, and it's not straight. Because a lot of those guys who throw that hard throw straight too, and everything moves.
Absolutely not fair. And seeing that type of guy come up, who we thought was good before the season, if you knew anything about baseball, but seeing that type of add to Clayton Kershaw, you're starting to see a team that all of a sudden has, every year the World Series team isn't always the team that was loaded from the get-go, but all of a sudden has a couple pieces, perform better than people were expecting. And Dustin May, although everyone thought this guy was going to be really good, he could end the year as one of the best pitchers in baseball with that type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he's making balls move that you just don't see from guys too often.
You don't. So I think there obviously is a case for the Dodgers to win, and I think I originally picked them to win the National League myself. They might not be leading their division right now, which is kind of mind-boggling.
Yeah.
But with that lineup, but they're probably still, in my view, I probably would agree with you, they're still the favorite to win. But you do have, you have an old staff in Chicago, but you also have a very veteran staff, guys that have been there, and guys that aren't good. There's no moment too big for a guy like John Lester.
No.
So you're not going to see that. That's something we have yet to see with Dustin May and some of these younger guys that are pitching. They haven't seen that yet, but you also talk about a World Series with no fans in the stands. So,
yeah. So who knows?
Who even knows? But all right. So let's say we'll go off your picks just for fun here. We got the Dodgers and we got the Yankees in the World Series. Who are you taking?
Oh man, who am I taking? I think it's the Yankees. I really do. Just top to bottom, I think they're the most complete team in baseball right now. And, barring any injuries happening, which, as much as we hate the Yankees, don't want that to happen. I don't know how they lose. I really don't, especially because a guy like Happ and maybe even Paxton won't have to pitch necessarily in the big games. They can be a bullpen guy, or they can, come in and pitch 2 innings, whatever they need. I don't know how you pick against the Yankees right now.
Yeah, I don't know how you do either. I mean, it pains me to say as a Red Sox fan, but like I said, that series against the Red Sox that I watched them play, the Red Sox were completely overmatched.
Yeah.
And like you said, the Red Sox offense came alive, and the Yankees found a way to win. Teams that are really good find ways to win on their worst nights. And I mean, again, granted, I've seen the Yankees play a lot more than I've seen the Dodgers play. I can't watch every game in baseball right now, but it's impressive to see what this Yankee team is doing. So I also think I think that they're probably going to take it as of right now.
Yeah, they're just good. They're just a different good.
We got a trade deadline right at the end of August. Is that when the trade?
Yeah, 3 weeks from now, I guess.
I mean, it's a really interesting trade deadline, so I don't really even know what to say about it because who now you're talking about a month rental.
Yeah.
No longer even a 2-month rental is for some of these guys. I don't know how guys are going to approach that. I can't imagine the Red Sox making any freaking trades. I don't know about the Mets, but
no. I think if you have maybe if the Mets are so vastly out of it, maybe it's just send Stroman off. But also at the same time, you're going to get a draft pick if you hold on to him, and that draft pick might be more worth than what you're going to get now because of the 1 month. It's going to be bizarre.
It is. It's a bizarre trade deadline. Probably, hopefully, one we never see again. I hope we have a regular type of season next year. We're all just throwing shit at the wall right now and hoping something sticks, trying to figure something out. But listen, guys, that's all we have for you today. Another great episode with my man GiraffeneckMarc. Please go, subscribe to his channel on YouTube. Subscribe to mine here. We'll be doing this again every Thursday, releasing it on Friday. I mean, we're almost halfway through the season. It feels like. Yeah. We're only 2 or 3 weeks in, so only a few more weeks before we really start talking playoffs. We'll talk trade deadlines next week. And let's see what we have in store. So enjoy, guys. Enjoy the weekend of baseball, and we will see you next time.